Hello again. In this video, I like to talk about premium TDs on tier 8 and why I like to talk about them because I'm very fond of them. I like them a lot, and for me it's somehow choosy point in all tiers, depending on the tank, obviously. But they are pretty interesting and fun to play. Uh, Always when you are meeting the tier 10s tanks, it's the fun ends there. But in overall case, they are pretty interesting and fun tanks to play. And second reason is that I'm guessing, or I'm pretty sure that many of players enjoy playing those TDs, premium TDs, and many players are thinking about to buy them, or if they don't have them yet, they are considering to buy them, but or they are thinking about those, or they are playing like I do, a lot of them with those tanks. And to me, to be honest, these premium TDs at tier 8 are my biggest uh, grinders for the credits. So let's start. Uh, First thing first, for my all-time favorite, Rheinmetall Scorpion. Uh, this was very interesting tank when it came, and it was so overpowered, and to my point of view, it ruined the game in that point when it came out. Uh, and why it ruined the game? Well, you can see average damage is 490 and penetration to 146. So what that means, it can penetrate almost all tier 8 tanks on frontally. No, well, not nowadays, but back in the day, it could penetrate almost everything, and that alpha damage is huge. And when we are looking nowadays, mm, how it looks like nowadays, and funny thing, this is still pretty decent, or I like to say it's very good. Those those stats of the gun, it doesn't it hasn't fade away anywhere. Those numbers behind that guns. Plus, what makes this so good in the back in the days is that this has 360 degrees turret, which was pretty rare in many years ago. Not today. Today we have a lot of tanks which have those fully rotated uh, turrets, but back in the day it was pretty rare, and combination that gun plus that turret, it was devastating. Mm, Obviously it works nowadays too. So again, the thing what I haven't fade away on this tank is right there. What else? It's pretty fast, and you can relocate it, uh, and that's most of the important tactic when you are playing with the Scorpion. Don't stuck around in the one point. Move around and know the position where you can go next. If your team is failing, you have to back up and or backing up for next position, or if your team is rushing and winning positions, you have to follow them forward. So no positions, and this is very good tank for that kind of tactics. Well, downsides of this. Uh, One of the biggest thing what I hate a lot is the real statistics behind this tank, and I have some kind of theories of what the wargaming has been done when this came after uh, to the game. It This gun was so good. It was so accurate, and you can see my accuracy is now mm, 0.60. to 26, and it's very good on the paper. And I don't use any special. Well, I have improved aim in class one, but no special things on it. And I have pumped it up with bounty equipment and extra variations, and it raised the accuracy more. But I found out that it doesn't matter. It doesn't make this one biggest fall anywhere. It doesn't fix it. And what is the biggest fall is this. These tanks has some kind of nerf, and I know this might be a little bit controversial to say that mm, Wargaming has nerfed premium tanks, because they cannot do that. Because if they nerf uh, the premium tanks, they should give the money back. So that's the reason why the premium tanks cannot be nerfed. But somehow this accuracy and gun handling has it, it it has gone worse than what it used to be. So in the paper, it's very good, and well, the dispersion factors are not so good. So this mm, this tank or gun has same principle what holds many of the big alpha guns, that well, bigger the alpha damage gun you have, the worse the gun handling is going to be. So what that means, the aiming circle will bloom up every time you move or shoot or something like that, and you have to again and again wait, and it focusing on the target and so on. That's very common in these big alpha damage guns. And no matter how much I try to fix this with field modifications or equipments and so on, it's still somehow meh to hold the gun. It doesn't work correctly, and I have shot it many times, or I have been very frustrated many times when I fully aim it shot and it goes everywhere. I have put that one video earlier where I a couple of examples, and those wasn't the bad ones with that other video, but yeah, it's something what annoys me a lot. In paper, everything is pretty good, and you can easily fix up this for the better, but still it doesn't work as it should be. It's let's put this way, it should be uh, very good, but it's when we are comparing with those numbers, it's pretty trollish, this gun. Uh, but nevertheless, I have so much fun with playing this gun or this tank. Uh, when it works, it's works like a charm. It's so fun, and you can move, change your position fast, like I said earlier, and you can follow the game. That's the most important thing, and that's one thing what we are going to when we are going to go the next tanks on the issue. Why I hate about those slow and clunky tanks. You can they are not a flexible or dynamic tanks. You cannot follow the rhythm of the battle, but this tank can do. Next thing, what is a couple of things what are bad in this tank is that camo values of this are uh, pretty bad. Well, in this case, I have 21 something, and when I move in 14 something, and these are pretty bad for TD. And this kind of TD, which doesn't have any kind of armor, to be honest. Everything which is shooting to this tank is going through penetrated. So this doesn't have any kind of armor. Normally, with that bad armor, there's a balancing with the camo, but not in this case. So you have to be very careful the distances with the enemies, and you have to be very careful with the buses and the terrain, what you have around you, and just to make sure that you are on the cover when you are shooting, or you have to back up pretty fastly to the cover. Uh, that's the thing. I have been surprised so many times when I'm pretty sure that I'm fully covered, and when I shot, I just light myself to the enemy tanks, and you know everyone that when you are lighting yourself, you are like a beacon. Everyone can see, and normally you can be sure that at least 2 or 3 tanks are aiming to you, and well, you know the rest of the story. You are carried before you know you can say your own name. So that's one downside. And another one is that this doesn't have a loader in the tank crew. And why it's a bad thing that uh, I cannot train that intuition. So I like to switch a lot different kind of ammunition types for heat or the premium or cold ammunition and so on, depending what I'm facing. And I cannot train that initiation skill on them, which allows me to change the ammunition pretty fast. What else? The view range is a little odd, like many of these open turret tanks. Somehow the view range is bad. In this case, I haven't. I have some kind of setup where I have binoculars, and there I can have that 505. I can remember what the values are when I'm using. Let's see, can I see it? No, I have to pause it, but I don't want to pause in this time. Coded objects, it will be something 420 or something. And so it's pretty odd that tank which doesn't have any kind of roof has a bad view range. When at least I think that in reality, if you don't have any kind of cover around you, you can the spotter can see and the view rates is better, but not in this case. That's a one bad thing. In this setup, I have two setups, and depending on the map, if the map is something where I'm taking the role where I'm more the support tank for the uh, heavies or something, someone is spotting for me, I'm using this setup. And when we are, or I get the map where is I have to spot myself something, there's another setup for that one. But I play pretty aggressive, or try to play pretty aggressive, so I don't need that view range so much. I sacrifice them for these equipments. So rammer, I get reload time is faster. I want to do damage as much as possible. Improve with rotation mechanism, so I can ease up a little bit about that bad gun handling, and obviously pump up accuracy much as possible. So gun handling is pretty big problem, and all these equipments are focusing on them. That's about Scorpion G. Or one thing, if you're wondering, there's a Scorpion G and just a Scorpion. They are the same tanks, but Scorpion G has this own uh, 2D style, which gives those gamma values for it. But to me, this is pretty ugly. If I would buy this tank now again, I would buy that regular without a G and put my own camos on it. But it is what it is. Let's go forward. Uh, Next thing is ISO 152K. Like I said earlier, it's not my cup of tea. Let's to be honest. And this is one of the tank what I got from a Christmas loot boxes, and I haven't played at all it. May sound a little bit odd. I am going to play some when I have uh, some kind of interest to play. But to me, this is torture. So that's a reason why I haven't played. It's a pretty much same tank as the Tech 3 ISU, and I have played that Tech 3 ISU at a lot. Uh, this have, as far as I remember, a little bit better gun, but mm, for some penetration or something, as far as I remember, but pretty much it's the same tank. Uh, this is very classical example of TDs at the World of Tank games. And in the back in the day, there was most of these tanks didn't have any kind of turret, and the game paces or speed of the game was much lower than nowadays. So these kind of tanks works pretty well. Nowadays, when we have EPRs and whatever in this game, and uh, the pace and speed of the game battles are so much faster than they used to be. So that's the main reason why these kind of tanks are very bad. At least that's how I see it. Mm, so what is the bad thing about this? Well, mm, speed 40 kilometers per hour. It may sound a lot, but in reality, it doesn't get that fast because uh, this is pretty clumsy. And the handling of the tank is this is like a big brick what you're trying to move around, and it turns slowly. There are resistant effect a lot, and uh, you don't have any kind of turret. The movement of this gun on can mandlet is more. Let's see how what is the values of it. Little moment if I can find them. No, not that one. Not that one. It's over here. Let's see. It's it's going to be. Please show it. Yeah, it's pretty narrow that constraint of the gun. Uh, when we have now the values of here, you can see easily why this. What is the trick of this tank? Why is why it's in the game, and why many people are thinking that's this something? Whoa, I have to have it. It's right here. So alpha damage is 750, and penetration is very good, almost 300 with the standard ammunition. And that's the main thing what's may interest you. But downside, again, like I said earlier on the Scorpion G, uh, gun handling is awful, accuracy is awful, reload time in this case is awful. Uh, Obviously, you can pimp up this with the different kind of equipments and field modifications and so on, but still, it's it's pretty awful, and that's a reason why I hate these kind of tanks. Normally, these kind of tanks have some kind of armor, but they're not in this case. If we are looking at this armor wise, I have penetration set up 200 millimeters and caliber 120. be, let's say, it doesn't matter, 100 millimeter is enough. When we are looking this, everything goes through easily. This is a paper tank. So even the manlet, I remember that manlet has some kind of armor on this tech tree, at least at the tech tree tank, but this is very bad. There's 250 meters on this little area, but rest of this everything goes through, and this means that uh, if you go on front supporting the heavy tanks when they are going on the front line, you are going to shred it. Everybody get shot you, and when you are uh, calculate these things together, you have slow tank which doesn't have any kind of accuracy, it doesn't have any kind of armor. You cannot play dynamically. You cannot change position fastly or something. Well, this is pretty useless, to be honest. And everything about this tank is at that alpha damage and a penetration. That's it. But again, you don't. It's you cannot enjoy those values if you cannot hit anything or you get killed right away, or you at the beginning of the battle you do the wrong decisions and you go the wrong places and you get killed pretty bad. So that's the reasons I hate this kind of tanks, and that's the reason I haven't played this one. Uh, who may like this kind of tanks? Well, obviously players who enjoy that one hit or maybe two hit with these tanks, which can be you can face those battle now and then. But to me, much important is that I can be useful and hitting all the time, long as I'm alive with the battle. With these tanks, no, you cannot do that. Let's go forward. So, Xor 1008, one of my favorites, and this is, to be honest, this is freakily, freakily good tank. This is very good. I like it a lot. Not the easiest one to play with uh, because it's an autoloader and it has own quirks and things what you have to remember, and it has some kind of learning curve when you are playing this one. In generally, when we are let's talking about what is the highlight of this tank is that alpha damage is okayish. Penetration not so special, but you can it's okay. And main thing is 5 rounds are in the magazine, so you can calculate pretty fast what that means. Not the only thing. Reload time, uh, 2 seconds. Let's see if we got that web page so we can see the values straight from there. Uh, intro clip. There's some kind of. Did I read it wrong? Have they changed it? Oh, sorry, I I read it. Rate of fire 5. Yeah, yeah. Uh, it was. So magazine size is 4. Let's go back to that. Those values. So magazine size is 4 and intro clip. So what is the time between those shells in the magazine is 2 seconds. That means that it delivers uh, almost 1,300 damage in 6 seconds, and that's good. That's very good. This combination works very well at me. Only downside is that reload time is pretty long. With the equipments and so on, you can uh, you get 40 something, what means that the alpha damage or the damage per minute is pretty poor, and that's in the paper looks pretty bad. But this is very common with the autoloaders. If you are familiar with how to play with the autoloaders, it doesn't. You can get this work pretty well. You have to just uh, do something between the reloading the magazine, and that something is relocated, or do something wisely things. Or what I do when I have to reload, um, I start to reload every time when I'm moving or relocate it again. And the only tricky thing is that you have to start to think at when a tough place is enemies rushing on you. You have to think, well, what is the correct time to reload. Even you have shot at two and you have two in the magazine, but in some cases that's a correct place to reload while everybody is rushing you. You have to find the correct places, and that's a one thing. What is the difficulties on the autoloaders? But in general, this works just fine. In the paper, gun handling and accuracy, it's not so great, but in reality, this works pretty fine. Uh, I hit pretty good with these equipments. What I have uh, aiming improved aiming class 1, and with this because it's closed turret, I can use this improved ventilation. With these two, I get pretty decent accuracy for it, and I have pump up that gun handling with the rotation mechanism. And with this setup, I hit pretty accurate with this, and it works most of the time pretty well. I like it a lot. Uh, that's only thing what you have to learn with this is to find the places where you can dump out your uh, magazine, or have to be patient. Don't fall on this typical autoloader syndrome where you have to dump everything out again. You have to find places. What is the correct place? You have to be a patient and so on, and find the correct places where you what is the correct time to reload it and so on. When you get hang of this, how the autoloader on this works and what is the correct places, this is devastating. You can strip down almost, well, say same on the same tier tanks life out pretty fast, especially when it's an end game and your team is winning. You're just chasing rest of your enemies, and you can do pretty nasty thing on this with this thing. Uh, what else? This is pretty mobile. It's a good thing. Uh, you can chase places. Again, you can uh, be pretty flexible on the battlefield. You can uh, follow the mm, phase of the battle. You can chase the places and so on. Again, like I said, the Scorpion, when your own team is winning, you can follow them, or if your team is melting, you can back up and so on. It works pretty well on that point of view. And again, when you are moving, it's good time to reload in that case. Uh, what else? This has pretty decent camo values. I like it. Much better than Scorpion. Mm, Also with this setup, view range is well, it's not the greatest one, but it's better than Scorpion with this setup, thanks to this ventilation. Armor wise, uh, let's see. You can bounce something on this, but it's again paper tank. The hull is enemy can penetrate it anywhere, and your turret has some kind of armor. depending on the position, you can get some miracle bounces on it. It's not so rare, but you cannot count on it. It's better play that way that you remember that it doesn't have any kind of armor. Let's go forward. Strv S1, Swedish TDs. Uh, this is one kind of cup of tea. Well, if you like uh, Swedish tech tree TDs, this is pretty okay. I'm trying to find correct words on this. Let's put this way. Judas 03, the Swedish tech tree TD on the same tier, is way better than this. It may sounds very odd, but it's better. And why it's better? That it has that Swedish tech tree TD has so weird uh, angles. Uh, the position what you can get this is pretty freakly. What you cannot get. This is the system is a little bit different that with that than that Strv S1 on this Tech 3 UDES. And also this is much faster than, as far as I remember, also these gamma values are freakingly good. All these values are pretty good. Uh, yeah, 70 kilometers per hour. It's fast. Honestly, it's very fast. And with this, its gamma values are way worse, and 50 kilometers per hour, it's 20 kilometers slower. And those are the reasons why the standard is, the Tech 3 version is better than premium, and it's rare. Normally, premium vehicles are better and the same tier than the Tech 3 tanks. But yeah, UDES Tech 3 is much better. But about this tank, it's much closer to the, in principle, how it works. And now the turret is fixed with the hull or turret or whatever. In that UDES, it's not fixed. That's why it get those crazy angles. That's one thing what is a little bit bad on this. It works just fine, or it just great if these plates are thick enough so it can bounce something, but in this case it cannot be bouncing or anything, to be honest. Let's see. 100 millimeters. Penetration. And this is a small caliber gun, to be honest, in this test tier. Everything goes through. The reason is that armor is only 30 millimeters thick. So if it would be, how much it's in the counterpart, this is tier 9 is much closer to that tier 1 than UDES 03, where how this look like. Yeah, 40 millimeters, 60 millimeters, and here you can see that 100 is ricochet. It doesn't penetrate anything. Let's put a little more again. 120 is, yeah, still it holds pretty well. And when we are comparing, this is much closer to S-Tier 1 that premium tank, but S-Tier 1 has S1 has uh, that armor thickness is much small or less than this one, and that's why it doesn't work this kind of thing as it works in this tank. And this S-Tier 1 103 O is no 0 is very good tank. I like Swedish Tech 3 tanks. But back to the yesterday when this this doesn't work, at least not for me, as good as it worked on those Tech 3 tanks. It could be killer tank and overpowered. No, overpowered is wrong way to say, but it would be much better if this thickness of this blade would be better. Uh, what is good about these Swedish tanks? It's same as those S3 Tech 3 tanks. These have those hydraulics, so you can get those pretty crazy uh, gun depressions, and you can this the position of the gun is on the top, so you can get very sneaky position on the ridge line when you are shooting over the hill. Your profile is so small, and this is one of the best thing of these tanks. Uh, when I said this is slower than UDES, this isn't slow. Still, this isn't still isn't so slow. So it's one of the good things of this is that uh, you can relocate it pretty fast, and it goes forward as the backward, almost the same speed. So you can go on the ridge line and shoot a couple of things and just to back up very fastly to second place or second position. That's that's a very cool thing, and that's a tactic when you are playing with these things. Another thing is the penetration. The alpha damage is okay, but penetration with the standard ammunition 288, almost 300. That means that you don't ever have to use any gold ammunitions. Obviously, when you are facing the tier 10, uh, you may have to use cold ammunitions, and look at this penetration 330 to 312 20. So this is one of those rare tanks which can it it keeps up with the tier 10 battles too, and that's a very good feature on the premium tank. This is something what's you have to remind when you are bought these premium tanks. Camo values are okayish, not the best one, but they work just fine. This is okay, TD, my conclusion. Let's go forward. This video is getting so long again. SU 130 PM. My favorite again. Uh, this is a Russian version of that Scorpion. Uh, let's think about that Scorpion, but let's add some alpha damage for it. This has a little bit bigger alpha damage. Gun loading is, let's see, I can't remember where I can find it. Oh, there. If we are comparing, those are pretty much the same. Reload time a little bit longer, and damage per minute is, yeah, there's a little bit change, but to be honest, they are on the same line with the Scorpion. Uh, but couple of things what makes this much better, in my point of view, than the Scorpion is camo values. Way better. You can find your sneaky position and play much uh, safely on those positions. This is a little bit faster, or on the paper, but well, they are on the same basis, if I may say so, with the Scorpion C. Mm. And the best thing is that because this is a Russian tank, it has this so-called Russian BIAS on this game. So not only those values what are in shown here, it's better than those. Again, things what nobody says aloud, but that's it how it goes. That means that when I'm comparing my paddles with Scorpion C and with this Scorpion C, I get very trollish battles with the Scorpion C and sometimes very frustrated battles. But this with the SU, I don't get those at all, to be honest. It it hits where I'm pointing and it works just fine. Only bad thing about this is that this has some kind of pseudo turret. It's not rotating fully the 330 degrees. It's, let's see what it is. 77.5 per side. So it's not fully rotated. That's one thing with these. Bad thing about, but the good thing about this is it has not only one but two loaders, so I get that precious intuition skill on it. What else? Gun elevation is free, freakily huge. So uh, let's see what it means. I can get pretty interesting position if I'm on the hill, which is down. I can, or I can get positions. I can easily go positions where my hull is with this tank downward, and still I can shoot because the elevation of this tank is the gun is that 37 degrees, and that's very cool thing. I enjoy a lot of use this feature in many cases. This looks very funny. This is almost artillery, if you think so that way. But again, this is good tank. Then to be honest, this is better than Scorpion C in my point of view. I like this a lot. Again, I have bounty equipments on this one, and this is one tip for you all who buy premium tanks on this game and you like to make credits on them. Pimp up those tanks much as you can. You can this way you can maximize your income with these tanks. And obviously it's much more fun to play with those tanks with works much better. Let's go forward. The newest tank in this game, TVP 100, the marathon tank, and everybody was looking for it, and it looks like this. I I remember when I saw first pictures and videos on what this with this uh, YouTube channel. I was at I was thinking that this is so full of crap. And why I think that way that it's so bad. It was that alpha damage 250, and the accuracy in that point wasn't that good. But they buff it up or this accuracy and they add those penetration, which is freakingly good. Again, 270 millimeters with the standard ammunition. Uh, Again, tank with no armor. It's fast. It's pretty flexible. Gun handling is very good. It's very accurate gun, and uh, one of those good things about this is reload time. Now with this setup, what I have right here is 4.5 seconds about roughly. That means that uh, damage per minute is almost 3,500, and that's good. What else? Alpha camera values are okay. With this setup, I get almost all the view range what I can get. Uh, in a paper, everything looks fine, and in reality, is gun handling and accurate is very good. And what's bad about this? To be honest, it's very hard tank to play. It's very hard, and reason for that is that alpha damage. And here we can find one very important thing when you are buying these premium tanks and you want to get good damage or score, or they means that you get credits. Buy tank which has uh, huge as possible damage per minute, or sorry, alpha damage, and gun handling is working well on that tank. These are two most important things. In this case, gun handling is very good, but alpha damage is bad. And what is bad about alpha damage? There's very good gun reloading time, and damage per minute is very good. Well, the whole game is more or less based to the uh, damage rating. So every time you shoot, you expose yourself, and most of the time somebody is trading that damage with you. Well, every time you are trading with damage, you are facing 300 to 500 or something. You are losing every time with that trading because your uh, alpha damage is so bad. So don't go trading with this gun if depending on the position or situation on the battle. But most of the time it's the deal is that don't go trading with those damages. You are going to lose. Or well, again, depending on the situation. But if this would have some kind of armor, it would different. The whole thing would be a different. But it isn't that way. The correct way to play this with this tank, at least how I play it, is that again, same as that Scorpion G, find a position where you can support, where you are close enough to the fight that you can do your effectiveness to the situation, but don't be too close that you are spotting yourself and get killed. And that's the trickiest one with these tanks. You have to find that position. At the end game, this is very interesting tank because at that point that damage per minute and gun reloading is changing a little bit. You can take a new role at the end game, and I mean end game the situation that there's about 6 tanks left. So 3 on your own team side, and enemy has another 3 tanks. At that point, this can be a game changer. Also, if you find the correct position, you can punish enemy tanks by shooting cupolas and whatever the enemy tanks hull or turret those armors are, you can still annihilate with those or punish them by shooting those cupolas because that gun is accurate and you can just keep nailing on it with that uh, damage per minute. But again, very hard tank to play and not my recommended for the new players, or the skill value on this one or requirement is, at least how I see it, it's pretty high. It's not easy tank to play. Let's go forward. TSY5. This is one of the popular in some point. It was very bad enemy to the handle, and the reason for this was this very good armor of this tank. At least at the beginning, nobody knew how to handle with this. And when we are looking at these values, these are good. 250 to 500 something. Yeah, this is pretty hard enemy. But again, there's a cupola, which is not a. It has armor on it, but on the tier 8, it can be penetrated pretty easily. Same goes this little spot uh, over here. Obviously, there's some secret spots where you can find yourself where an enemy can go through. And obviously sides are weak and end is weak. But in front row it is tough not to crack open. So that was the first uh, tricky thing when this came to the battle and the game, and everybody was thinking this is overpowered. Another thing what is very interesting is that alpha damage 400, penetration almost 250, and reload time 7 seconds with this setup, which means again the damage per minute is almost with this setup 3500, and very good. With these values, it's very good, and gun handling works pretty well. So everything is nice with this. Uh, the accuracy of gun, well, let's put this way: this isn't a bushwanker or a sniper on the red line where you shoot 500 meters or something like this. You have to go on the front or the middle of the battle, and that's a correct position for this. What else? Gamma values not so special. With this setup what I have here, uh, I have used this only as aggressive tank, so I don't mean that V-range at all, to be honest. It's not important to me. So everything looks great on the paper. I know many players who enjoy and do very good result on this tank, but somehow I hate this with all my guts. Uh, Again, this has same problems with as a issue. It's clumsy. It doesn't have turret. It's not flexible. Uh, it's again brick on the tracks. So not for my playing style. And the armor, that's something what frustrates me a lot. Again, it is good, like we saw earlier, but somehow everybody can penetrate me when I go this tank, and I don't know why. Even some very fast hazy shots are going through, and I get penetrated very fast, and I get frustrated with this tank. And when I get those situations where I'm alone or I'm trying to do some heroic uh, hero kind of crap, I get punished it very fast with this, and I I I don't know how to play. To be honest, I don't know how to play with this tank, and I struggle a lot. That's why I haven't played this tank. It's 55 games, but I'm pretty sure that I have to concentrate some in some when I got more uh, faith on this tank, I will try it again because I like to get this tank work on me, but right now I don't get it work, and especially when I'm facing it tier 9 or 10, this is awful, the experience, because the tanks on those tiers are very good and they can penetrate this pretty easily, at least with the cold, and yeah, it's not fun at all in that case. Mm, but again, this isn't a bad one in generally. Many very good players, unicoms like it, and uh, many players say that this is easy tank to learn and play. Maybe so, but at least I haven't got it work on my case. Next one, And the last one in this case, this video is way too long again, 1 hour, but sorry about that. But I summarize or talk about a couple of tanks what are not in this list afterward is VIII 120. But let's go with that Chinese tank destroyer. Uh, Very interesting tank. Uh, One of those tanks which don't have turret, and normally, like I said earlier, that I hate ISU and TS5 because they are like a bricks and they are not flexible and they are turning very slowly and so on. But this is a little bit different kind of animal, let's put that way. This turns very fast. It's to be honest, it's not the easiest one to circle around or flank it. This turns very fast. Mm, Also, it moves pretty fastly. Or it's pretty flexible in that way. Uh, Gun is very good, 440 alpha damage. Penetration is good. These are pretty much same values as a Scorpion. The alpha damage is a little bit worse than Scorpion, but the uh, penetration is better. Rate of fire is good. Yeah. Um, Gun handling, far as I haven't played a while, but gun handling, far as I remember, it works just fine. It's not the accurate one, but it's not. These values, what you can find on these, are the same. What you can. It doesn't act trolleys like that. Uh, where I can find it on there, as that Scorpion, like I said earlier, which has been act very trolleys on me at least. This works just fine. Uh, yeah, this is a little bit awkward because I haven't played this tank for a while. But far as I remember, I have good memories on it, and it's not so clumsy as those non-turreted tanks normally are. Uh, you can play pretty flexible with this, and the armor of this is very interesting. It's simple, it's very easy, and it works pretty well. 220 millimeters, and when you are angling it a little bit or wiggle yourself with the same tier or lower tier battles, this is pretty hard to enemies to knock out. Again, with the same, let's put 105 millimeters, uh, little angles. If you wiggle a little bit, enemies have some hard time to penetrate it. But again, these are not special, to be honest. When I'm facing with these, when I have some kind of, let's say that's Scorpion or SU 130, uh, this isn't not so hard to penetrate or handle. Everything goes through. But sometimes it can be these oddly angles or something like that. This can be hard tank to handle, and that's the way how the nature of this tank, how it should be played, is pretty aggressive. And again, this is a good tank to buy because uh, you can. It works even the higher tier battles, but you have to be careful what kind of role of playing you are playing. Uh, this is very fun tank when you have lower tiers, so tier 6 or 7, you can be so mean and nasty on those battles. Just play very aggressive, go on front and bully everyone, and you can you can kill everyone out pretty fast. When you get higher tiers battles, uh, be a more support for the front line or go in the back and so on. This works in that point of view very well. So you can change your role depending on the uh, tiers, and it works just fine. Uh, yeah. When we are summarizing of this or all these tanks, now obviously there's a lot of else tanks what you can buy. For example, that Russian Su-103, or uh, there was also those French tank destroyers. I cannot remember those names. To be honest, I don't have those. I don't have any kind of. Uh, uh, I haven't played those tanks at all, so have. I don't cannot say anything about this. There's a on the back. There's the turtle, which is, far as I know, pretty awful. It's same as the SU or TS, but much worse. Mm, armor, or not worse than ISU, but worse armor than TS5, and uh, it's same class. It's slow and clumsy and so on. It should be. I remember that this one was the uh, sell it to the customers from the uh, their marketing department, that this is tortoise on the tier 8. But no, this is pretty far from it. Everything goes through. Uh, this is, as far as I know, pretty awful. So I haven't this again. I cannot say much about it. But those tanks, what I don't have, I don't say. I don't have anything to say about those. Uh, but summarizing of this, some of tips and my recommends when you are buying the premium tanks and you want something where you can easily grind credits. Mm, to me, weapon of choice is SU. This is first in this point. Uh, I like to see this is the best premium TD what you can buy. It's very good. I like it a lot, and I do a lot of credits for it with this. And this is the tank where you can find the balance with huge alpha damage, penetration, reload time, and gun handling. And of course, this Russian tank, so it has that so-called secret Russian bias on this game, and also it's not the most expensive to repair. All those shells are not most expensive. I haven't talked about lot of those uh, cost at all, but it's not the best one. So it's a good one in that point of view. And this is my recommended by this one. Uh, it works just fine at the tier 10, tier 8, tier 9, and so on. It can be work on those, and you can change your roles in those game. Obviously, when the battle starts with no armor, you have to be patient and find your distance with your enemies. But the end game, you can start to play much aggressive with this one. Next one is the Scorpion G. Again, it's my all-time favorite, and it's not the good as, at my opinion is that it's not good as that as you, but it's still freaking good. It's I like it a lot. I have played 1633 game battles on it, and it's good tank and very good credit maker. Same principle as the SU. It works just fine at the tier 10. Obviously, you have to spend gold for it with the penetration 300 or something, but not always. Just to find good position or flank or something, that 246 is just enough for penetrate everything from the side. This is a good one too. Uh, Next one should be maybe this XOR. If you know how to play the autoloader, this is your tank. But again, the learning curve of the autoloader cons could maybe could be very hard or long. And if you don't know how to play this, this could be very awful tank for you. But if you know how to play with the autoloaders, this is the one. This is so devastating in some playing tactics and so on. This is good one on those things. Uh, Rest of those, maybe that Chinese VZ is okay if you are looking for those flexible moments. If you want to bully on those lower tier battles, but the higher tier battles, it doesn't work that aggressive things again. And yeah, again, like I said earlier, that I haven't played this so a lot for a while. The armor is working just fine to the lower tiers, but the higher tiers or same tiers, it doesn't work at all. That's my opinion. And again, gun depression is 6 - 6. It's not so good. So on the those hill front sides, uh, front lines, it doesn't work that well. Uh, yeah, if you're looking for these pure sniper tanks, which are way far away from the enemies, and you want to camp down those bushes and ridge lines and hills and so on. This is tank for you. It's freakingly good on those, and those penetration and gun handling, everything works just fine. Uh, it's great on those. Bad downside of this tank is that when you are alone or you are losing on the losing spam on your team, or your team is melting, in other words, and you are alone with some position, you have to change the positions all the way. So you are constantly find a better place. You are not on the top of your game anymore. You have to find all the time better places, and that's the way the that is the point where you start to lose with this tank, and it could be a little bit disappointing. But far as you find the good positions and you are uh, the distance with the enemy, and you have those good positions where you can support your front of your team and so on. This is the killer tank on those. But right away when the enemy is rushing against you and your team, uh, well, then the fun stops right there. But again, not a baddest one. And again, the penetration and accuracy and so on. In a paper, this doesn't looks. This value is on the when it's not on the sheets mode. What is on the sheets mode? Let's let's see. It changed a lot. Uh, with the Swedish TDs and some of those mediums, there's a sheets mode. So when you are moving, you get that top speed 50 kilometers and so on, and accuracy is very bad on those. So is those uh, dispersion values. But when you turn to the sheets mode, the accuracy is much better, but also the speed is changing much worse. But look at these dispersion factors, freakingly good. So that's a trick with this tank. When you are in a sheets mode, that you can change with the X key on the keyboard, you get much better accuracy on this one. And with these equipments I have, it's probably something 0.24 or 5 or something. It's very good. So this is very accurate gun and the gun handling, and basically you are hitting wherever you are. pointing, and speed of this, wow, almost 1500 for 1450 meters per second is cell velocity. So it works just fine. I forget, or not just fine. It's freakingly good. I forgot to talk about those velocities. It's one of the most important thing on those accuracy or gun handling. What is the velocity of the ammunition? Slower than the velocity is, it is harder in some point of view to shoot with this. But when you have speed like this, uh, you aim, just fire it, and right away it hit on the target. That it means. So in that point of view, this is very good. About rest of those tanks, what we show in this video, ISU I don't recommend it at all. I don't like TS5. I don't recommend it at all. But obviously, these are the things what you have to know about yourself, and you can train these or take uh, check these when you are playing with the Tech 3 tanks. That is it good for you or not? But I don't like it. They are slow, like big bricks on the wheels or tracks. And uh, one rule which is always when you have big alpha like that issue, normally uh, bigger the gun, the accuracy and gun handling is getting worse, and obviously reloading time is getting longer and so on. Uh, yeah, to me, issue is very bad thing. Uh, don't buy this one. TS5, if you know how to play this aggressive like a heavy tank, and you know how to use this armor or something, what I don't know right now, uh, this might be a very good because the damage per minute is so big. And Skoda, mm, like I said, this is very hard tank to play. I don't recommend this for, well, if you are a good player and you know how to move around, and you know how to punish enemy with a high rate of fire with low alpha damage. This is for you, but that's a very common general rule. If you want to get good result, have more credits and so on, buy higher alpha damage gun, which is accurate. And this is opposite is very good gun handling, but alpha damage is so small. That's the one reason why this isn't that easy tank to play, because the trading doesn't work. But that's about it. Again, sorry about this 1 hour 13 minutes. Way too long for video, but it is what it is. Thank you again. Till next time. Bye.